Hey, welcome back again. I'm Frank, and yes, I can teach you how to play guitar. And if you're here for the third lesson and you've watched 1 and 2, then you are learning how to play guitar. So good for you. Here in lesson 3, we're just going to cover the string names and the natural notes. We've been playing on this big string here. I've told you is the 6th string. Maybe you do, maybe you don't know that the natural notes of music go A through G, the letters A through G, and then after G, you're just going to be playing an A again. So they go A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right on up through all of the octaves. We'll explain that later if you don't know. So a natural note is just a note like A or B or C. There are some notes like C sharp, like E flat, and those are notes in between a couple of natural notes. So right now, we're just gonna worry about the natural notes. So this E string, if you play it by itself, you're playing the natural note E. All right, so that's why there's a little green box around that letter E. Don't worry about the notes in red. We're going to talk about those in a few minutes, but for now, let's just worry about, on that E string, the next 2 notes, which are F and G. All right, so to play the natural notes that we're worried about on the E string, we're going to play open, so that means not holding down a fret. That's what open means. E, and then first finger, first fret. We're in our first position, if you remember that from the last video. Third finger, third fret is our G. All right, we shouldn't have to change positions. We're not sliding that first finger up to the 3rd fret. We're going to go ahead and play like we talked about before with our fingertips there on the 3rd fret. We're playing that G, and then we're going to come down to the next string. The 5th string is the A string, right? Because the last note we played was G, and we're going to play the next note up. And you can kind of hear that there's not a big musical space, a distance, like if I were to play a low note like this and then a really high note like this. You can kind of hear that. That's the next, it kind of sounds like the next logical spot for a note to be, and there's reasons for that as well. But so the next string is A, and then the B is the 2nd fret, and the C is the 3rd fret. The next string is going to be our, after C, we have the letter D. All right, so D, 2nd fret is E, 3rd fret is F. What's the next letter? G, so that's our next string. There's only one note where we're gonna fret. It's going to be with our middle finger. On the 2nd fret is A, then we're to the open string B. 1st fret C, 3rd fret D, next note is E, F, G, just like on the 6th string. These are both E's. They sound way different, but the places where the notes fall are on the exact same frets because you're starting with the same note, which is E. So let's go ahead and play through all of those. I understand if you can't keep up with the time, but we'll do it kind of slow. If you can, try to do some alternate picking, down, up, down, up. So I'm going to go E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Just like in our 4-finger exercises, you can play that backwards. G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E, D, C, B, A, G, F, E. Almost forgot what the G was called there for a moment. So play through those and learn those natural notes. I'm about to explain something that is going to possibly start off a little confusing if you don't know much about music. The note between 2 notes that don't have, that aren't right next to each other, like B and C were. We'll explain that in a minute. The note in between, this could be called either F sharp, which means it's a little bit higher than F, but it's not G, or G flat. This fret here it's kind of got 2 names. Unfortunately, it's the sharp version of an F, and it's the flat version of a G. And the only two sets of notes that don't have a sharp or flat between them is between E and F, which is why we can go from the open immediately to the first fret, and B and C, which we saw down here on the second string, B and C. We saw those other places. So when we were on the D string, E was here at our second fret, and F was at our third fret. Here on the A string, B was at our second fret, and C was at our third fret. All of the other notes have sharps and flats. So we have E, F, and then this is F sharp or G, then G, and then honestly we have here G sharp, I guess I should be playing that with my pinky, G sharp or A flat, and then we have A. All right, and then this would be, it's usually called B flat. Technically it's A sharp as well. Then we have B, C, C sharp, D flat, right? D. You can just keep on going from there. So let's concentrate on the natural notes for now and just have some fun playing those. We'll worry about sharps and flats much later. The notes in the red that you see here, the A, the D, the G, the B, and the E, that obviously those make sense. We were playing E, F, G. If we had the same idea that there is a such thing as a G sharp A flat, the A would be the next note. Listen to how that A sounds like the next string down. I know they sound a little bit different when I pick them, but if I play them together like this, that's the same note, right? They're not vastly different notes like this, where you can hear a way different note. My guitar might be just a little bit out of tune. So that same thing with this note here, which on the A string, this is A, B, C, D, right? That sounds just like the string next to it. So if you really think this forward, then there aren't like a different unique note for every string and every fret on the guitar. When I'm playing way up here on the 9th fret, let's actually do it on a way different string. The 9th fret way up here on my 4th string, that's going to be the same as the 4th fret on my 3rd string. And so what that means is a note might show up several times on the guitar. This 12th fret and 4th string here, that's a D. And so if I go back to the 7th fret on the 3rd string, that's a D, and I can actually go back and find a D. Same note, there's going to be that same note another place. That's one note that shows up 4 times. So there aren't, here I have 21 frets plus an open, 22 times 12. I don't have 264 individual notes on this guitar. There you can see that there's a pattern evolving there, and that's something important to know going forward. Don't focus too much on trying to memorize where a note on one string is somewhere else on the neck on a different string. If you get really good at the theories and what we're going to cover here in these lessons, that'll be something that you can kind of do mathematically in your head pretty quick. Hopefully you're good at math and you can figure these out. So if you're wondering why one of our notes repeats on the 4th fret instead of the 5th fret, like we have here, the A, the D, the G, and then we're back here on the 4th, just think through what we've done already here. That's the G, that's A, all right, then there's going to be a fret in between because there is an A sharp B flat before we get to B, and that's when the note repeats. So it's just kind of has to do with the way the guitar is laid out. The reason why I bring that up is you might see some people sometimes making sure their guitar is in tune with itself. You might use an electronic tuner or something like that, and sometimes you'll have a note that shows up tuned, but when you play it, they sound a little bit off, so you might, until you get that note sounding just right. That probably didn't make a whole bunch of sense to your ear. But that's this lesson. Those are your natural notes. go ahead and continue to practice these, learn those. It's going to be very valuable to know. So think about those natural notes, and one other fun exercise to do to familiarize yourself with the guitar is actually go through the strings up until the 12th fret, which is when the notes repeat. So here, this 12th fret, I'm playing an E. It's obviously not the same as the low E, but I've gone through an entire octave, which basically means, from a note where it sounds lower to the next time the note occurs in the alphabet. And so play those natural notes, try to figure out where they are on the guitar. So on the E string, it'd be E, F, I don't care if you're just sliding one finger at this point, G, A, B. Remember, there's not a sharper flat, so C is right here at the 8th fret. We're not playing just on the dots. C, then they got D, then we have E. Technically, we have F again, which obviously would make sense because here it's kind of just like we're starting all over again. And so that same pattern, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, is going to hold true there. Go through every string and do that. So down here on the D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, and start getting familiar like that. It's really going to help when we start learning bar chords in the next lesson, and you start playing along with music, maybe jamming with some friends down the road here just a little bit. So thanks for checking out the 3rd lesson, and we will see you in lesson 4. Rock on.